All right, good morning, mathematicians. Today we're going to do a number talk. Remember, this is our time to think about a math problem in our heads and then share how we solve it. The goal isn't just to get the answer right, but to understand how we got there, okay? So remember, when you think of an answer or a way, strategy to find the solution, put your hand on your chest and signal when you have a strategy, okay? Okay, if everyone can please look at the screen. Our problem today is 248 plus 137. I want you to solve this problem in your head. When you have an answer and a strategy, put your thumb on your chest like this. If you have another way to solve it, add a finger. Remember, no shouting out answers. This is a thinking space, okay? I also wrote it on the board right here. 248 plus 137, okay? Okay, let's think of the first strategy. Yes. Okay. All right. You say you broke both numbers apart by their place value. Hundreds, tens, and ones. Okay, so you're saying you did first the hundreds. So you did the 200s. So you got 248 plus 137. You brought down the hundreds. So you got 200, brought down the 100. Okay. What did you do next? Now you did the tens. Okay. So you brought down the 40. And you brought down the 30. And you say last you did the ones. So what do we have left? Is the 8 and the 7. Okay, 200 plus 100 equals 300. 40 plus 30 equals 70. And 8 plus 7, 15. That's correct. So now we add the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. That's correct. 300 plus 70 plus 15. What's our total, guys? Yes. 385. That is correct. Okay, so that's our first strategy. Thank you for sharing. So, anybody has a different strategy? Yes. Okay. So you say you added in chunks. Can you explain that? Okay, so you started with 248 and then you added on parts for the other numbers. Okay. Let's write it down. So you started once again 248 plus 137. And you said you started by adding the other 100, okay? So he went 248. He brought down the 100 from the 137. What did you do next? Okay, you added those. Okay, 348. Brought that over. 348. Okay, and then you added the tens, which is the 30. What did that give you? 378. Okay, that's correct. What do I do next? Okay, you added the ones. Good job. So now we only have the ones, which is the 7. So now we bring down the 378. we add the ones, which is the 7. And once again, our answer is, that's correct, 385. Still the same answer. Okay, those are 2 strategies. Anybody has one more strategy? Okay, please tell me more. Okay, did you guys hear what he said? Making a friendly number. Okay, so you saw that you had, let me repeat what you just said, which is very clever, and a very clever way to solve it. So you made the problem easier for yourself by making it a friendlier number. Okay, so what was your first step? Okay, so he started with the 248, it says, was 137. Okay, so you saw that 248 was close to 250, so you turned it in, you added 2, okay. So you said 248 plus 2 equals 250. What did you do next? Okay, so now you added 250, you brought the 137 and you added that to that. What does that give you? 387. Oh, you went and subtracted 2 at the end. Okay, so then you bring down the 387 and you subtract 2. Okay. Who can explain why he had to subtract 2? That's correct, because he's trying to get back to the 385 plus he borrowed the 2 to make it into a whole number, right? For the 250. But then he needs to give it back. So at the end, he has to give back those 2 that he borrowed. So that brings it back to that 385, just like our other 2 friends got. Okay. Good job. Okay. So thank you all for sharing your ideas today. Look at all the different ways that we can solve the same problem. Now I want you to take a moment to think about what you just learned. Now for our next step, you'll each have you each have a small slip on your tables of paper with a new problem to solve. This will help me see how your thinking has grown today. Okay. So in your journal, stick on that little piece of paper that I handed you, okay, and write about the strategy you used today and the one you learned from a classmate, okay? So in your math journal, as you put that document, think about what new strategy you learned and how you solve this problem today. In another way a classmate might have shown it that you learned today. So in your journal for your exit ticket, solve the problem that's on your slip, which is a similar problem that we just did, and solve the 156 plus the 219. Explain how you solve this problem, and then explain how you could have done it in another way like you learned today. Okay, and this will wrap up our lesson for today. And think about what you noticed of all the 3 strategies, okay? How are they similar? How are they different? Okay, thank you guys for listening.